card chat, card chat.
Welcome to Card Chat, people. Good to have you back along. Man, we've been having a busy week, hey? The mailman's been arriving. Shout out to New Zealand Post for doing a job and doing it well, despite the weather around the country at the moment. I just want to give one shout out. I went onto the site sportscardinvestor.co.nz and I've ordered some cards through there, and I wanted to get myself an Obsidian Flood fill. So
They're beautiful cards. They are beautiful cards.
I bought Bones Highland and I thought, hey, it's a flood. To me, it doesn't matter. It looks pretty shiny. And what happened is I ordered it on Friday and I got a text on Sunday from Kane from sportscards.investor.co.nz. And he said there, sorry, I didn't get to post your cards on Friday. I just wanted to give Kane a shout out. That's really cool. That's so personable. And I appreciate that about our card providers that we've got around the country with just putting that little bit of extra. And I thought getting a text message was pretty cool. So I quite like his site. I quite like buying cards from there. And it's saved me a lot of money on postage from the States because I've been able to get cards and players that I want. Kobe White's been my favorite level 1 rookie that I've got so far. And I got a slab. That was my first ever slab. And that will probably be framed one day of a Kobe White jersey, I'd say.
You know, she definitely shout out. It's great to have a local website that is very reasonably priced with a great selection of cards, and the website is super easy to use. Search by player, search by team, search by card type. Big fan. So that is absolutely awesome. Also, from an aside point of view, there's another outfit. I don't know if they're shutting down what they're doing. Massive sale going on, but able to get a it's a graded mellow. It's a different type of grading company though, HGA. So I'm not sure if it's a Kiwi grading company or who it is. But I got a LaMelo Ball rated rookie, 60% off. So I ended up getting it for sort of about $18 or something like that. So I was really wrapped with that. I thought I couldn't resist. It's not as, I guess, resellable as the PSAs are of the world, but I mean, LaMelo Ball, he's my PC guy, so I'll be holding on to him.
Yeah, I like that, mate. Like I've started a little Jaylen Brown PC at the moment.
I like that.
Yeah, and like I feel there that I've mentioned here before. I really like smart people, and I think Jalen's a very, very intelligent guy, and I quite like him, and I think he's gone up in my books now, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to start getting cards off his because I think he's capable of some great things and capable of dealing with great moments of pressure. So he's going in one of my PCs.
Nice, I like it. I'm right there with you. The two things that hold me back from a JB point of view is his dunk comp. I did the no look dunk, but he just covered his eyes after the fact. It's the one thing that just bugged me a little bit. And the fact he's a Celtic, just a little dig there to Burnsy. But I'm a big fan of Brown. One of the main reasons is because he called out Nike. I love it when big name athletes call out these massive big companies for their hypocrisy and everything that we know is going on, yet they just carry on doing what they're doing because they're super rich and people just like turning a blind eye when it's convenient. So shout out to JB for not pulling any punches on that one.
Yeah, so we thought this week for Card Chat, we'd try things a little bit different. And me and Phil, we got talking and we thought players that we've invested in that haven't gone to plan. So I've got a large list and I started writing them down. I was like, oh man, we're going to have a long, long chat about this. And Phil, I imagine you've had the same with cards that you've bought, and you've bought a lot of that player expecting the value to go up quite substantially. So I'm on record saying there that I've got Scoot Henderson's and I'm waiting for that time. I'm hoping I'm not going to be having the same conversation in 3 years' time with going, I'm still banking on Scoot. I'm hoping that he's going to start coming right next year and then get better the following year. But Phil, what players did you have that you've banked on, we'll say big, when we're talking big, getting 9 or 10 cards of a player that haven't gone to plan?
Well, Jimmy, actually, to be honest, Ro, my adult card collecting journey is only really restarted, the adult journey has started fairly recently. So I can't necessarily say that anything's busted yet because we're still sort of within that year time frame. I have bought into quite a few LaMelo balls, and I'm a Hornets fan. I think he is superstar all over. He's got this max contract. He was an all-star real early on in his career, but he's had lots of injuries, and so I think a lot of people are sort of potentially banking on him being a bust. But again, jury's still out in that regard. What I probably want to talk about is a little bit different to that. So I'll let you tell me about your busts. You've been a regular sort of card collector for many years now, and then I can jump back in with my angle.
Sweet. I've been collecting cards for now 32 years, so since I was 8 years old. So if you do the math, you can work out how old I am. So good on you to all those listeners that are good at math. I started my journey with firstly collecting Charles Barkley. I thought he was awesome. I loved his personality at the Olympics.
Well, he is awesome.
He is awesome, and I love him on TNT, and I thought, he made the Hall of Fame, but he never won a title, so his cards have never really gone up, and the highest value card I have of his, so I've got 108 Charles Barkley cards, all of different varying varieties. I've got about 5 really good ones that I like to, keep close to my chest, but then I've also got some not so good ones that remnants of my childhood with a couple little corners and things on them. But the highest value card I've got of his, and I got it for $30, like, yeah, sweet as, it's only now worth $35. So I'm a little bit dark on that, and I love Chuck, but I'm always been big on Phoenix Suns Charles Barkley.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah, and when I see the 76ers Charles Barkley pop up when he was a rookie, or I see the Rockets Charles Barkley, I'm like, nah, I don't want a bar of that. I want peak Phoenix Suns Charles Barkley lying about his height to the rest of the NBA when it's saying he's 6'8" when he was 6'4", or I think he was 6'6", and then he wasn't 6'6", he was 6'3", and it kept changing. That's why I love Chuck, and because of the trash talking, but he's never gone up. That's one player. Another one there that I banked on big was Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp's
The Rain
card,
Man.
the rain man, it's gonna rain. He's never really gone up to the heights that I was expecting him to in terms of card value, but he had a few really good seasons with the Supersonics, combining with Gary Payton. Gary Payton was another player because I thought, right, I'll get the combination. It never really worked with the glove. Unfortunately, then he got traded away to Cleveland when he didn't take a max, or he didn't get offered a max deal, so he wanted to get traded out. And his cards never really went up. He's popped up a little bit more in the news lately, and he was a great. Like, I really like the Rain Man, loved his dunks, super athletic, but had a lot of problems. That's 2 players. The other one, James Harden, I went big on him early. He's probably going to be one of those players that never wins a title unless Kawhi Leonard turns up and plays brilliantly for the Clippers. Might become a winner in China. Stephon Marbury was another one that I went big on.
Starbury.
Yeah, I was expecting and waiting, but he never really reached the heights that I was hoping he was going to. Steve Francis or Steve Franchise was another one.
Yeah, it's interesting because all of those names, like if you look now at the players that are in demand, the cards that are in demand, the legends, it's basically Jordan and Kobe from like a retired standpoint. So unless you've got they basically have to be graded and they have to be quite rare as well. Because I mean, there's lots of Shaqs and Jordans and Kobe's floating around that aren't that unique. Maybe they're just sort of the base versions and they're easy enough to pick up. But yeah, it's an interesting point, and it probably quite segues nicely into what I'm wanting to talk about. I feel like the card market, it really blew up COVID, right? That's when everything really took off. I guess people were chilling at home with lots of spare time and then spare money, probably more so, and everything went bonkers. Zion draft, that was huge. And the most expensive Zion card sold for just over 20,000 USD. It was National Treasures card. And then if you look at basically the Zion prices since then, it averages at about $67, and as low as a couple of bucks for some of those base cards. And my point being is that I think the same thing's probably going to happen with Wemby. You really have to collect and then sell now. because even though, or you wait until, they're retired type thing. It's that long game, because if you wait, even now, when those first original hoops came out, they were selling for $50+. Now you can get one of those basic hoops, any of those NBA hoops cards for $18 to $20 type thing. And the same thing with a lot of the Prism. They just, as soon as the set comes out, they're super expensive for a couple of months, and then just the hype dies down, and then they're cheap. So it's kind of like, when a new set comes out, everyone, chill out if you want to buy something, because they're not going everywhere. If you want to be first, but be prepared to pay, top dollar. And so I think with those old school players, unless you can get yourself a rookie card, which are, again, few and far between, typically have to be graded, it's a real challenge to get some real value out of them.
Yeah, because it's mainly the big players, isn't it? It's because Scottie Pippen cards don't have much value. I've got about 50 of them. Penny Hardaway, there is another one. I went real big on him because I thought Penny and Shaq were going to be massive. And I got about 9 rookie cards of Penny, but just no value in it. And yeah, I think you are right. It's about timing the market and getting onto it when it's fresh. And I think we'll touch on it with this year's rookie class, but it's finding the diamond in the rough as well, isn't it? It's finding that player that can stand out and is going to be special. Like, I had a feeling about Luka, but then again, I also had a feeling about James Harden, and I had a feeling about Charles Barkley. And those feelings didn't come to fruition.
But they're all really good players, and they all had really great careers. It's just for whatever reason. I mean, maybe Harden's cards will go up when he wins a title, if he wins a title. Maybe that's why Barkley's didn't go up as much. Chuck an autograph onto any of those cards, and you will certainly get a lot more value out of them. But I think that's just part and parcel. It's long game, or it's flip real quick. But I think the other thing that's really important, as we've talked about before, is the different approaches to collecting. Right, I'm a big PC guy, so a lot of the stuff I collect is because I really like the cards and I want them part of my PC with a handful of this could be worth something in the future type thing. But I think hobby first, and then investment second. And some card chats coming up, just a wee bit of a sneak peek. I think we'll be able to introduce those different ideas and a sort of flesh them out a bit more, the investing standpoint versus just out and out hobby collecting. And I think that's probably our focus, right? I mean, you say they don't hold a lot of value, but I'm pretty sure you still really like your Barkley cards and and all of them. So I think that's ultimately the main thing, right?
Yeah, my 90s collection of my collection's pretty cool. Like, I've even got Patrick Ewing's, a few Hakeem Elijah ones. Yeah, all of those. I love it. But also just want to say there, if you want to grow your collection and grow it quite rapidly, make sure that you get onto Waterpool, waterpool.com.au, and have a look. Come join us in some of the breaks there. They just recently had Break 300. Huge, but we'll talk about that. Shout out.
With the CEO. Good job.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in next week's Card Chat. Thank you for listening to the Basketball Edition podcast. Please make sure to follow us on our socials, basketball_edition_WMSA. And if you are wanting to have a chat with us, please send us a message and we'll get back in touch with you. Make sure to follow us on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, all good podcasting streaming channels. Thank you.